Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the 10K Project. We are the largest community of investors who actively fund Black-owned businesses, but we also run this expert interview series as well, where we invite different people to come and talk about ways that you are able to gain financial independence, grow your businesses, things like that. And we have Roxy here today, who is going to talk to us about actually starting a business. So welcome, Roxy.
Hi, thank you so much, Ms. Cherie, for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you became a business owner?
Okay, so first, I had no idea that I was going to start a business, right? When I first started out, I thought that I was going to work for Chase and retire with a 401k and a pension plan.
Me
But
too.
life didn't happen that way. Um, I think, avoiding starting the business because I thought that it was going to be too much work.
Mhm.
Well, then I realized after I left Chase for a little while, and then I came back to work at the tax office as an employee, that I was only making like $80 a week, working 4 hours, 2 days a week. So
Oh,
she
wow.
offered me the opportunity to be able to purchase the office. I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do it,
Mhm.
not having any idea about how I was gonna get it done. Once I did though, I stepped into a role. It's a totally different mindset. So
Mhm.
not only did I have to change my way of thinking, but I also had to change some of my behaviors and patterns in order to be able to operate business successfully.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about the behaviors and patterns you had before starting your business as an employee, and then what you had to learn after you became a business owner.
So as an employee, you have no concept of time. Um, you come and go, you might be 10 minutes late here or there, and it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
As an employer, totally different ball game. Every minute counts. It's different when you're the one that's sucking up the hours and receiving the paycheck versus being the one that's actually paying the hours out because you have to account for everything.
Mhm.
So I had to change my mindset on that, my timeliness, my organization, because you have to be very organized. Even setting priorities for yourself in order to be able to operate a business for yourself. If you are not organized, you definitely have to get organized. You have to keep records of everything in business. There's no way that I would be able to go through as an employee. I didn't have to worry about that. I didn't have
Mhm.
to worry about doing payroll. I didn't have to worry about who was going to work what hours on what day and filling in the gaps in between or making sure that everybody came to work on time. None of that was an issue. But when you
Mhm.
become an employer, all of that's an issue. And then those bills, those bills
Yes.
come in. Customer service, that had to change because as an employee, you're taught to have good customer service regardless, but you have to have a higher level of customer service when you're operating a business for yourself because your customers are the ones that pay your bills. So it's different.
Yeah. Do you think anybody can be a business owner? Is entrepreneurship for everybody?
No. I hear a
Mm.
lot of people pitching entrepreneurship to everyone, but you have to be disciplined in order to be able to start and run your own business. It's not as easy as people think. People think that they are going to start their own business and then it's going to be smooth sailing. They're going to make all of this money and that's going to be the end of it. But you end up a lot of times working harder for yourself than you do at your 40-hour-a-week job. So if you're working at 40 hours and complaining, entrepreneurship is not for you for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously I work with a lot of businesses. I've owned my own business for many years, and I have been at times, there were times when I made less money as an entrepreneur than I did, as a employee. There were months where very, very little came through, and then months where it was so much that I was turning away business, or like you were saying, the organization. So if you are not prepared for the roller coaster of entrepreneurship, I would not suggest it to a person. I
Sure.
don't think that entrepreneurship is for everybody, but I will say this: investing is for everybody.
Oh, for sure.
Everybody should be investing. If you can own a family bank, every family should have a family bank. Every family should have an investment portfolio, whether you're putting in real estate or tax liens or whatever. So, and you can form those as LLCs or corporations and get the tax savings from it. You still have to be organized, which Roxy is
Mhm.
going to talk about your paperwork. But I suggest for a lot of people, maybe keep your Fortune 500 job, make your 120 a year, your husband makes his 120 a year, and then you all start your family bank LLC, family investment club, and you kind of work it that way, you know. So
Yes,
that's just a suggestion for me.
for
But
sure.
let's say that we have a person that wants to be full-time entrepreneur, or they're starting a part-time business on the side. What are some of the things that are required for those startup businesses?
So I think one of the most important things is to make sure you do your market research. For the business that I jumped into, it was a franchise and it was already operating up and running, and it was making six figures on its own before I even got into it. Franchises are a good start if you want to start your own business because they have a baseline. They've already proven that they can do the money. But some people like to start from scratch.
Mhm.
And if making your own cat back scratchers is not something that's popular, then you want to make sure that it's something that's necessary. When you start a business, you don't want to just be throwing a bunch of money out there into something that's not already operating or something that's not needed in the community, because then your business won't take off.
Yeah, I agree with that. What else should people have outside of the market research?
Ooh, a plan. You definitely need a business plan. Even though I started it off as a franchise, I still needed to know what direction I was going to go into the business once I decided that I was going to take it over. So,
Mhm.
yes, I had viable customers. I had business going on for myself, but that business plan was necessary in order for me to be able to grow my business successfully and know where my business was going, how much money I was making right then at that point, what my target market looked like, the people that was going for, how much money my business would actually make, and then um, the different products and services that I would offer to my customer base.
Yeah. Is there anything else with regards to the tips that, people should do when they are starting their businesses?
So I would say some other tips that might want to make sure of would be make sure that you're detailed in what it is that you want to do. Make sure that you look out for your competitors. Make sure that, like I said, there's a market for what it is that you want, and that your business can be viable, that it's actually going to make money. Have that
Mhm.
business plan in place. Um, Understand what it is that you're actually planning on doing when it comes to your business, what rewards you're going to get out of it, how it's going to help you. Um, Make sure you have all your paperwork in order, legally stay focused. And most of all, if it's what you're going for, don't give up.
I can agree with that. So let me play devil's advocate then. Analysis paralysis. You have, half the people jump in with no plan, and the other half want to plan to death and don't want to jump in at all. So, is there, you're laughing. So is there such a thing as analysis paralysis, over planning, not just jumping in and doing it?
Oh, for sure. Um, I've heard the term that fear is paralyzing to death a lot.
Mhm.
So there are some people out there that will plan and plan and plan, and
Mhm.
because they are nervous and they feel like, oh, I got to make sure I got this in order. I got to make sure I got that in order. You are never going to totally have it 100% in order.
Nope. You're on mute.
You're going to have to jump in and just do
Mhm.
it. Like there is
Yeah.
no other way. You have to take risk in order to be able to reap those rewards. You
Yeah.
can't just start out thinking that everything is going to work out, or that everything is going to go bad. You can't plan for every instance. So you just want to make sure that you're prepared as you can, and then just go for it.
Yeah. So I have some suggestions with regards to like jumping in versus analysis paralysis. And you can let me know, Roxy, what you think. I think that if it costs less than $1,000 for a person to start and you're not borrowing the money, let's say you saved up the money, you've got a simple service that you're doing. I'm more of a jump in kind of person. Do like a 1 to 2, maybe 3 page business plan, figure out, a little bit of what you're going to do, but then jump in because the market is going to kind of drive where you end up. If you are borrowing $500,000 in order to do a restaurant, that's when you better really have a plan, really know what you're doing and talking about. If you're raising $600,000 to do a SaaS program, that's when you really have to have a plan. So, and obviously, anything in between there kind of depends on your level of like, what's a lot of money to you. But personally, I think if you are borrowing money, then you kind of need to err a little bit more on the side of having some sort of plan and really doing more market research and making sure that there's a market for what you're looking for. Because, if it doesn't work, then you're still going to have to pay that money back. So you can let me know, Roxy, what you think with regards to that kind of continuum.
Oh, no, I totally agree with you. Part of the reason for starting that business plan is to help you to figure out how much money you're going to need in order to be able to operate your business, right?
Mhm.
So if you don't have the right amount of money on hand in order to be able to start your business, then you have to seek outside sources.
Mhm.
So you're going to want to make sure that you can come up with as much as you can.
Mhm.
There are organizations such as yourselves that will invest in people that believe in what it is that you're trying to do. So you're going to want to find those ones that believe in you and believe in your business. And there are people that will help you. There's grants out there, loans out there that you can get, but you want to make sure that, like you said, if you're going to borrow the money, you got a stable plan in place. And if you're making or starting a restaurant, somebody better know how to cook.
Mhm. Not only cook, so I found a lot of people know how to cook, but they don't know how to run a restaurant. So, because that's different.
It's true. It's totally different in starting a business and operating one.
Yes, yes, yes. So, do you have any other tips or suggestions with regards to the legalities of starting a business?
Yep. You hear a lot of people say location, location, location. So depending on the type of business that you have, you may not always need a building in order to be able to make it happen for yourself. I've
Mhm.
heard of a lot of great businesses that have started right in the basin of somebody's house. So you
Mhm.
want to make sure that you choose the right location for your business. Even if you
Mhm.
do have to start it up at home, you just make sure that you know the legal requirements of it, because there are legal requirements of it. You want to make sure that you choose the right business structure for your business. Make
Mhm.
sure that if you're starting it up on your own or if you're doing a partnership, that you structure it the right way, because the way that you set it up in the beginning is the way that you're going to have to utilize it for tax purposes. And um, that's where a lot of people make mistakes at, because they just started up like, oh, I'm just going to get my business started. It's just going to be me. But then there's a lot of tax implications and personal
Mhm.
liability that come along with the business. So you have to make sure that you register it right. Um, and choose it wisely. Don't look at what it is right now, because right now it may just be me running a business from my home, but your plan 10 years from now may be to have a big corporate office and have 20 people working for you. So you want to plan for the future. You focus on the now, but you plan for the future.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. So, what I usually suggest to people is when you're thinking of the entity, you start off with two people, your accountant and your lawyer. The reason you want to have your accountant is for the tax purposes. The reason you need your lawyer is for the liability. So
Yeah.
person decides to sue you, they can't take your home and everything that you own, right? And even if you have to pay for their hourly rates, that will be the best money you can spend. I have another mentor, I haven't spoken to her in many years, but she used to say that whenever she would start a business, she would actually schedule an appointment with her lawyer and her accountant at the same time on the phone call so that they could both agree on
Mhm.
how she should start. And she would say, yes, it was an expensive phone call, but it was worth it. And she had a lot of assets to make sure they were covered. So yeah, if you have anything else to say with regards to that.
I was just thinking, make sure you set your businesses up the right way. A lot of
Mhm.
us will start some stuff like we say we do hair or
Mhm.
we're doing nails or we're babysitting on the side, and then we're trying to use that for tax purposes. If it's something that you are regularly doing,
Mhm.
register your business
And
because a
open
lot
up a
of
business
people,
bank account as well.
please
Yeah.
register it federally. Don't only just go get your EIN and think that that's the end of it. Register your business with the state that you're doing business in,
Mhm.
because a lot of people that really did have businesses missed out on the opportunity to be able to take advantage of a lot of grants and loans that were out there that would
Mhm.
help them to be able to run their business, just because they didn't have their legal paperwork in order and hadn't registered their businesses the right way,
Yeah.
which is another reason why what you said is important when it comes to having that attorney
Mhm.
um, on deck, because they're going to tell you that.
Yes. The other thing is, I've been talking with a lot of companies now that are offering funding for businesses. If you do not show revenues and profits on your taxes for the last or for 3 years, a lot of these programs, including the SBA programs, are closed to you. So we know with the PPP loans, a lot of Black people were complaining that we weren't getting our fair share. Part of that was our fault. Part of that was, as Roxy was saying, we were doing these side hustles and not real businesses with everything lined up. Yes,
Yeah.
you're going to have to pay a little bit to Uncle Sam, but if you're talking about, hey, in 3 years, I want to have 20 employees and buy a commercial building, and you don't show anything but $7,000 over the past year in revenues, you're not going to get the funding.
Yeah.
So this is where Roxy is saying thinking long term and not just short term with regards to where your business is headed. So I couldn't agree more. Any
Also,
other
house
tips?
buying.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I was just thinking home buying because I've
Mhm.
seen that problem with a lot of people that want to buy a home,
Yeah.
and they look at, if you're self-employed, they look at they'll give you like 2.5 times the amount that you make. But if you say you only made $7,000, that's only what the 14,
It's
20,
it's like
minimum.
18,000,
It's
something like that. Yeah,
nothing.
it's no money.
And that's
Yeah.
going to be the size of the loan that they'll give you
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
didn't show anything on that tax return. So we got to stop being cheap and trying to get big refunds at the end
Mhm.
of the year and pay
Mhm.
our taxes.
Yeah, yeah. So, any final tips you have for people with regards to starting and running their businesses?
Um, I would say just the things that we talked about before, like you mentioned, make sure you open up a business bank account. Do not finagle your money. Keep your money, personal money and your business money separate so that you always have some sort of a record to prove it. Keep accurate and detailed records, because when you go to ask for money from somebody else, they always want to know where the money went, where it came
Mhm.
from, and how it's being utilized in your business. So you want to be able to show them that. Having money makes more money. So
Yeah.
if you have money in your business and you can show them that you're utilizing it in the right way, then they're more likely to want to help you and fund your business. Apply for your licenses and stuff that you need in order to operate your business. So like I said, if you're a
Mhm.
daycare provider, make sure that you have a daycare provider license. Make sure that you have, if you're serving food, make sure you have a food service license.
Mhm.
Get the required things that you need in order to operate successfully.
Yeah. Also, if you want to do business with the government, don't forget to get your minority certifications with the state as well as federal. Also for government, city and county, a lot of these little cities will have, some nice contracts that very few people apply for, you know. And the final thing that I would say is schedule time to work on your business like you schedule time to go to work. You schedule time to take a shower. You schedule time with your boo. You know,
Yeah.
you schedule time to go to the missionary meeting at church. You have to schedule business hours. Yeah, because I think what Roxy first started off talking about was not just being organized, but you also have to be your own motivator as well, especially if you eat what you kill. You really have to. You really have to do that. So anything else, Roxy? How can people get in touch with you if they want to bounce ideas off of you or want to know more?
So for I have a couple tax offices. If you're trying to get information about taxes, anything that has to do with monetary finances, then it would be the tax office. So that number would be 614-338-1040.
You have to say that slower. So say it slower.
614-338-1040. If it's something that has to do with housing, homelessness, because I have a nonprofit organization that I run that helps survivors of domestic violence, homeless families, and young people, at-risk youth that have children. And we provide housing, clothing, financial assistance, help them get back on their feet, job training, literacy and wellness. Then you can reach out to www.helpforhomelessness.org. That's HELPFOR, homelessness at .org.
Perfect. All right, everybody. Time to start those businesses, get them up, get them running, get them profitable. And we'll see you in the next video.
Have a great
Thank you,
day.
Roxy.
Thank you.